All right, so let's look at some of the quality gurus. So we talked about Deming, and Deming, remember who he is? He's the father of quality management. And he's the one who said we need quality assurance, not control, and that the cause of poor quality is the system, not the employees. Well, let's look at some of the other quality gurus who have changed the way that companies deal with quality issues. So the second quality guru you want to look at is a guy named Joseph Juran. And Joseph Juran also worked for Toyota along with Deming. And what Juran found is he found that 80% of quality defects are controllable. Therefore, the onus is on management to correct these deficiencies. So like Deming, he believed that quality management was really about setting up a system as opposed to having good or bad employees. And so it was Juran who really advocated for any strategic planning that is done by the company to address quality. So there needs to be a strategy within the corporation related to dealing with quality issues. And Juran was focusing on the fact that quality really means fitness for use. And recall back in the previous video, we defined fitness for use. And fitness for use says, does the product do, right? When we talk about fitness for use, we're talking about how well does this product do what it's supposed to do. So when we talk about a strategy for quality, we're ensuring that the car drives effectively, that the meal is edible, that the computer works when you turn it on. So does it do what it's supposed to do? And when it comes to Juran, he was really the first to measure the cost of quality. So in a previous video, we looked at the different costs of quality, and Juran is really the one who was the first to measure that cost. All right, let's look at some other other quality gurus. Seem to be a bit blurry here. See if we can't redo this, get this page to load up properly. So we have two other quality gurus we want to look at, Arman Fingon and B Crosby. All right, so let's see if we can't open this slide back up here. Excuse me while I roll these here. Arman Fingon, he worked for GE, General Electric, okay, as their top quality expert. And Arman Fingon, he's the one who emphasized that quality should be a company-wide strategy. So while Juran and Deming talked about how quality was really about how you set up your company and the systems that you had, it was Fingon who started to emphasize that it's not just administration and management, but it's a company-wide strategy. So now we're looking at every single department within the company, not just operations, not just management. And it was Fingon who said the worker should be able to stop the assembly line if they identified a defect. And so his emphasis here was that quality is not just a tool, it's a field of study. And when we look at quality today, it is a field of study. There are people who go specifically in, who specialize in quality management. As we look at big companies who do large manufacturing, so if we look like Dow and Nova, for example, they will have an entire quality management team. Okay, they use a method called Six Sigma, which we'll talk about in a later video, but they have an entire department within their company that's focusing solely on quality management. So quality is just not a tool, but it's a field of study. And all of the company benefits if we have an improvement in quality. So it's not just your department or your product line that's better off if you find ways to improve it, but the company as a whole benefits with each change in quality. So every worker is responsible for his or her own work. Quality is at the source. Every worker is responsible for quality for everything that they do, what they impact within the company. Now, the other quality guru we have is Philip B Crosby. And Philip B Crosby looked at the cost of having poor quality versus the cost of preventing poor quality. And while it can be expensive to do testing, to put in place procedures for quality assurance, the cost of having poor quality is way bigger than the cost of preventing poor quality. Remember, we talked about how $1 of prevention can save you $100 if your defective product makes it to the customer. So that's what Crosby was looking at. The cost of poor quality is much bigger than the cost of preventing poor quality. And so because of that, we need to do it right the first time. We need to have 0 defects. Any defects is too many. So do it right the first time. Since there's a cost of having poor quality, we need to focus on preventing it. And so it's really a focus on quality assurance. Do it right the first time. Don't let the defects happen. Spend all the money on prevention, and then you won't have to spend any money later on to deal with that poor quality. And he really emphasized conformance. Recall that conformance is when you go to actually produce your product. Does it match design? If we're doing it right the first time, if we're taking all these efforts to prevent problems before they occur, then we should have a high level of conformance. The goods should match our design specs, and therefore it should be lower cost.